Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rezza Prisandy, and I'm very happy to stand before you this morning to be a moderator for this session. So, this session will focus on the digital asset, current developments, and regulatory outlook. So, of course, this segment will explore the evolving landscape of digital assets in Indonesia, of course, the innovation within our financial technology sector, as well as the opportunities, challenges, and regulatory framework that shape the future. So, we will also look at the future outlook and emerging trends in this dynamic ecosystem. This morning, we are privileged to have two esteemed speakers who will share also with us their insight and expertise. And the first one is Ibu Uli Agustina, Director of Digital Financial Assets and Crypto Asset Supervision from OJK. And also the second one is Pak Yudhono Rawis, Vice Chairman for Crypto Asset Indonesia Blockchain Association, or ABI. So without further ado, I would like to invite both speakers to kindly proceed to the stage. So, okay, before we begin the presentation, I would like to remind all of the participants to prepare your question. So you can just raise your question after the session, so we can have the Q&A session after the presentation from the speakers. So without further ado, each speaker will have 20 minutes presentation. And then let's begin with our first speaker, Ibu Uli Agustina. But before that, I would like to read a short bio of Ibu Uli. Ibu Uli Agustina is a senior official at the OJK with extensive experience in banking supervision, risk management, and also financial regulation. She currently serves as a director of digital financial assets and crypto asset supervision. Previously, she held several key positions, including Director for Sustainable Finance, Regional Bank Supervision, Credit Supervision, and she holds an MBA in Risk Management and Finance from Monash University and a bachelor degree in accounting from Sriwijaya University. Ibu Uli, the stage is yours, Bu.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings. 2025 ASEAN-ROK Digital Finance Forum. All the participants, colleague speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proudly honored to attend today as on behalf of OJK Department of Innovation, Technology Supervisions, and Digital Asset and Crypto Asset Supervisions. First of all, I would like to convey that how Indonesia ecosystem opportunity in scale that Indonesia digital economy is one of the fastest growing in Southeast Asia is actually driven by a young mobile first population, increasing internet penetration and strong government support. We are now in the era that our digital financial service sector emerged as one of the main pillars of Indonesia digital economy. According to Digital Economy Outlook 2025, we found out that around 278.7 million Indonesian populations, or over 75% of the population is tech savvy, again X, Y, and Z, while around 229 million internet users, 80.66% of the total populations, and 353.3 million cellular mobile connection with 139 million active users in social media. This is urging that Indonesia digital economy expected to reach nearly $100 billion in gross merchandise value by 2025, or growing by 14% compared to the previous year. Actually, our 2025 figures in digital financial sector potentials consist of the digital payments gateway value around $538 billion, our digital lending around $13 billion, and digital insurance premium around $0.2 billion, with digital wealth mutual fund asset under management around $7 billion. We believe that, as mentioned by the regulatory speech before, that how to arrange responsible innovation, regulatory sandbox will provide principle and transparency for us to be able to develop our economic in digital especially. Next. In Indonesia, the industry landscape covers financial sector technology, digital financial asset, and crypto asset. We have financial sector technology innovations. It's a technology-based innovation that impact the product activities, service, business model in digital financial ecosystem that we primarily develop under regulatory sandbox. And we also have digital financial asset and crypto asset, which this category is one of the new mandates handed to OJK through Law Number 4, 2023, recently back in January 2025. Under financial sector technology innovation, we have what we call it innovative credit scoring. This is the use of non-traditional data sources and advanced analytical models to assess the creditworthiness of individual and business. To cater the unbankable and more inclusions towards many individuals in Indonesia, we have around registered entities, 10 of them, and now on process of registration, around 6. ICS actually using sources, not only coming from the method, from the banking information, but we gather the information also through telecommunication, e-commerce transaction, and utilities. Some of the current usage is regarding the use of the information to open job, especially in e-commerce platform that provide with the platform information on individuals that can be recruited as their couriers. This is really what we call it interesting in the way that we found out that accumulated ICS inquiries from January 2025, which is only 13.14 million, increased to 210.35 million in October 2025, with ICS partnership regarding financial institution cover 184 and non-financial institution 91 is also included the service provider, the tech service provider. In the next section, we have aggregator. This is an industry segment dedicated to gather and compare product information from financial services institutions to enhance market transparency for consumer. Accumulated transaction via aggregator in January 2025 was only 2.01 trillion and increased up to 21.88 trillion rupiah in October 2025. The aggregator partnerships also around 1,041 with non-financial institution cover 298 and financial institution 745. We have around 20 registered entities and 10 entities on registration process. This also cater the information and the ability to develop more unbankable consumers towards Indonesia and providing information for them as the literacy and educate them to what financial institution can provide services that they can choose according to their risk appetite. Next. Our regulatory sandbox, we have a mechanism actually to facilitate the testing and develop of innovation. As mentioned by our chairman just now, the regulatory sandbox possesses the ability to assess the feasibility and reliability of financial sector technology. We provided some eligibility criteria, consists of scope and target market within financial service sector and utilized, of course, by Indonesian consumer partners and or the general public. Innovation requirements, significant elements of novelty or a distinct differentiating factor, we have the value proposition to demonstrate benefits, enhance service quality, and of course deliver added value to Indonesian consumers and stakeholders. The operational readiness, we prepare development and immediate testing procedure, and the regulatory status, of course, it required development testing support and must not have been previously regulated or supervised by OJK. As of October 2025, OJK Regulatory Sandbox is actively monitoring 7 entities, including 6 models related to the digital financial asset and crypto, and 1 specialist market support provider. There are 5 new applications on pipeline, and 2 sandbox participants have successfully graduated. Their model focus on the tokenization of high-value asset, what we call it real-world asset, regarding gold tokenization and government bond tokenization. Next, we move on to digital financial asset and crypto asset. As I mentioned before, after the transfer of the regulation and supervision from Bapepti to OJK back in January 2025, we have several regulations in place, legal products issued by OJK. The first one is the POJK number 27/2024, and just recently revised by POJK 23/2025, covering the organization of digital financial asset trading, including crypto asset, which is back then in number 27 only consists of the spot trading, but now we also incorporate in number 23 regarding the perpetual trading. It has the circular letter also to provide to more details on the regulation as AOJK number 20. And recently we add up the issue or the implementations of anti-money laundering in terrorism financing and weapons of mass destruction program for digital financial asset provider in line with other financial institutions. Of course, our fundamental classification of the asset class before in Bapepti it considered as commodity, but now in OJK we consider it as a financial asset. This is something we look forward for the standard practices also in other countries, that in Indonesia we recently also launched our bulletin for accounting treatment of this digital asset. The regulator to monitor interconnectedness between crypto markets and other financial sector is a must. As mentioned just now also from the many regulatory speech, that without harmonization, what happened is that in one jurisdiction and another will have regulatory arbitrage, and this is something we are avoid to. Next. I will convey the Indonesia crypto market statistic. Our transaction value in rupiah trillion back in January 2025 is only 41.29 trillion rupiah, and by October 2025 it reached 409.56, or increased tenfold. We have crypto trading accounts back in January only 12.9 million, but now it's increased up to 19.08 million. Of course, the top 5 crypto asset transaction in Indonesia still regarding the biggest coins like USDT, Bitcoin, etc. But we also have in Indonesia some of local tokens. Next. This is the uniqueness of crypto ecosystem in Indonesia, because in Indonesia, our crypto trading ecosystem consists of, we have bourse, we have clearinghouse and custody to charter all the transaction by the digital financial asset traders. The bourse having roles to issue exchange regulations and rules of conduct, publish tradable asset whitelisting, conducted also in line with OJK, the supervisions of the transactions, the trading activities, and of course, bourse will then inform the transaction and communicate the transaction data that sent directly from all the financial asset traders to clearinghouse, where the clearinghouse issue a clearing regulation and conduct, which is they mainly do the settlement and guarantee the settlement of DFA transaction, especially the fiat or money reconciliation, and do the validation of the balance and changes of consumer fiat funds and digital financial asset. This then we have the custody. Within the custody is the management of storage location for digital financial asset, which possess and manage the storage. We have our regulation to maintain the portion, 70% of the asset by the digital financial asset trader to be placed in custody, and the 30% within the digital financial asset traders. This is something that to also have a what we call it a lot of discussion around the region with Singapore, with Malaysia. That just last few weeks I was attending Hong Kong Financial Week, and then Hong Kong also just provided the new regulation on having custody for their financial asset traders, which is now more and more countries, what we call it, consider having that kind of ecosystem within their jurisdictions. Next. In Indonesia, we have crypto registered entities, around 1,307 tradable crypto assets. This is the whitelisting listed by our boards. We have one boards, we have one clearinghouse, and we have two custody. We have 25 digital financial asset trader. This is fully licensed, and we have 4 prospective digital financial asset trader. We have one association, Asosiasi Blockchain Indonesia, and one of the association are also present here. We have 4 payment gateway and 2 bank for customer funds that licensed by OJK. The scope of supervisions of OJK itself, we are trying to maintain the balance of the innovation with the what we call it the compliance base. But again, there are some principles that are in place. We are currently required our especially traders to have good governance, risk management, market integrity, of course, system security and reliability, the customer protection. This is something also in OJK, because in OJK we have not only regarding the compliance, but we also have the role of the consumer market conduct and consumer protection. Also providing with the principle of anti-money laundering, personal data protections. In Indonesia itself, we have one successful licensing of the Korea affiliated PT Abit Exchange Indonesia. Hopefully, Abit people also present here. Is there any? Under the OJK framework, we have the mutual confidence that in our local market and regulatory commitment will pave the way to advance cooperation, to set high standard for investor protection and compliance across region. More and more international exchanges institutions coming to Indonesia and have the cooperation with Indonesia exchanges. Yes, this is my 2 last slide. Navigating through challenges, of course, managing the shift from commodity to digital financial asset regulation, the cyber risk management in digital financial asset, how to ensure market integrity and consumer protection, and of course, because the volatility of the inherent price of the crypto asset itself, the couple with the large number of young and new investors coming in Indonesia, it has the potential of more and more literate and education needed for them to be able to understand and able to have the trust within the Indonesia crypto system ecosystem. We have potential collaboration. We have already recently secured joint development of subtech and regtech solution, providing the technology and expertise sharing. As mentioned also by our chairman, we just have our joint supervision execution protocol we have the bridging border for digital financial resilience. OJK already signing the MOU extended with MAS and VARA Dubai, especially for the protocol of digital economy, digital finance. And hopefully, we already have also MOU with FSA, Korea, and we hope that it will also extend later on to digital economy. We also have the bilateral AML compliance and travel rule implementations as part of the IOSCO to ensure seamless compliant and secure cross-border digital financial asset transactions. We have also harmonized security token offering frameworks for preparing the tokenized real-world asset mass adoptions. And we also, one needed that, as mentioned just now, that more and more capacity building, educational and literacy initiative is a must. And we hope that with the event like this, we'll be able to promote more and more education toward many Asians ecosystem to be more understand and having a trust. And then it will, of course, develop the resilience of this innovation of technology. I think that's all for me today.
Yes, thank you, Bu Uli. Give a round of applause for Bu Uli for this comprehensive presentation. So, Bu Uli give us the insight a lot of about the dynamic and also the ecosystem and development of the ecosystem of digital asset, including the regulatory sandbox we mentioned before, and also the crypto asset development in Indonesia. So, for the next session, we are honored to welcome Pak Yudhono Rawis for the second speaker for today. Pak Yudhono Rawis is leading figure in Indonesia digital assets and fintech industry. He is a founder and CEO of ROK and currently serves as the vice chairman of the Indonesian Blockchain Association, or ABI. Previously, he led Binance acquisition of Toko Crypto and served as its CEO from 2022 to 2024. Pak Yudhono Rawis also holds an MBA from the University of Virginia, Darden School of Business, and also a BBA from the University of North Texas. Pak Yudo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Pak Rezza. Thank you, Bu Uli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Selamat pagi untuk tamu dari Indonesia ya. I think for my esteemed guest from Korea, 안녕하세요. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think for everybody else, then hello, and hope everybody is enjoying the session. So, I think the excellencies are not here, otherwise I would have liked to send my regards and then also congratulated for their addresses. So my name is Yudo. I am today here representing Asosiasi Blockchain Indonesia, which is the official association appointed by OJK. I'm also a founder and a CEO of a licensed crypto exchange in Indonesia named Flock. Beforehand, I used to work for a global crypto exchange called Binance in acquiring a licensed crypto player named Toko Crypto and then grew it to be a leading player in Indonesia. Prior to that, I was in fintech, working with Ping An Insurance from China. But for a long time, I was actually in KPMG Indonesia, in M&A, facilitating a lot of cross-border acquisition and partnership, including with Korea. My client at that time, in the height of Indonesia banking consolidation, was Kookmin, KB, in acquisition of a leading bank. At that time, a struggling bank. Unfortunately, KB Card in a consumer leasing company in Indonesia as well, Wuri and Bank Saudara, and also its merger process. And then I went to meet NH, Hana, and what I can share was, even though it was 10 years ago, I was very fascinated about how forward-looking Korean financial institutions were, coming from a very mature market in terms of risk management, regulatory maturity, but also the use of technology. And 10 years from now, in my experience with Binance, I also experienced how I'm very fascinated about how advanced digital assets and also blockchain space in Korea. There's a lot of potential collaboration and also partnership that can be done from two nations in developing crypto assets and also blockchain industry in Indonesia. Once again, it's an honor to be here to take part in this dialogue in a very interesting time to really shape the future of finance in Indonesia. and hopefully with a collaboration with Republic of Korea. I'm going to be very fast on this, but I wanted to introduce ABI. ABI, we are an official association appointed by OJK. Our mission is to advance the future of Indonesia digital assets and blockchain industry. And I'd like to be very clear about the way we go about things in ABI. We are an association for which our members are licensed by OJK, and that means we wanted to make sure compliance is at most important factor in the way we do things in ABI. And as addressed by the leaders in their welcoming speech earlier was that this has to be a different change, a paradigm shift. We are going towards responsible innovation. And from ABI, there should not be any trade-off between compliance and innovation. There's still a lot of significant growth between the different. It's just different from what it used to be when crypto was still unregulated. I think Indonesia was one of the earliest countries in Asia that actually had clear regulatory framework from crypto. It actually started in 2018 and 19. At that time, it was still under Bapepti or commodity regulator. Fast forward, 2023 was the first financial constitution for Indonesia, Undang-Undang P2SK, which also mandated the transition from Bapepti to OJK. I'd like to report in 2025, from the perspective of the player, the transition has been smooth. The industry is growing, and then I'd like to compliment OJK in their approach in doing a very clear and smooth transition as well, supporting and understanding the sector while also strengthening the regulation and supervision in the sector. Now we have about 60 members in ABI, but I can also share that there are 2 banks that's already part of the members because they recognize the future growth is going to be collaboration between crypto and also the TradFis, as it has been globally, and hopefully it will happen towards under OJK as well. It was shared by Ibu Uli about the Indonesian crypto adoption. I'd like to think Indonesia is one of the fastest growth and adoption for crypto in APAC. The market reached $40 billion last year. And this year, it's a bit of a dip because of the market. It's almost 15 billion now. I think hopefully we can reach about 16 to 18 towards the end of last year. But I think what's very interesting, you can see the number there, 18 million users. This actually already surpassed the stock exchange users in Indonesia, even though this industry has always probably been growing in 4 years. It's a bit of I think I'd like to report as well. Of course, massive potential, massive opportunities, but unfortunately, the trade volume has been on a decline despite the increase of users and despite the growth of market cap of crypto industry globally. This is something I think a learning opportunity for the crypto sector in Indonesia to learn from a very advanced market like in Korea, how to continue growing, how to enforce, I think, the illegal exchanges as well, to make the very responsible innovation and growth in Indonesia. And 3 factors that we believe have been really been the catalyst for the current growth of the sector. The first one, regulatory clarity. We, again, one of the earliest market that had clear crypto regulations since 2019. But also we have the crypto transaction tax starting in 2022, recognizing crypto as an official financial asset in Indonesia to be traded. And secondly, young population. I can report from an exchange perspective that may be different from mature market like Korea. 70% of retail of users in Indonesia is actually below 35-year-old. Typically college students and early professionals, which means ripe for growth. A lot of them actually, their first investment is crypto. Not stock exchange, not deposits, but go straight to crypto or staking. I think something that's quite probably different to a mature market like Korea is fiat channel access. In Indonesia, an exchange can connect to a multitude of different banking channel and also e-wallet and also payment gateway, whereas perhaps in a different market, one exchange can only connect to one banking partner. And I think that has contributed to significant growth. Now, we're in intersection where the growth will be different. Now we're under OJK. It's going to be a regulated and compliant growth. Opportunities to collaborate with TradFis, like banking, insurance, and also fund managements. For the first time this year, it's going to be exchanges in Indonesia can accept institutional clients. The product's not there yet, but we believe it's going to be a massive market for Indonesia. And last but not least, I just want to follow up what Ibu Uli has mentioned earlier about sandbox. One of the sandbox that's already approved is tokenization of Indonesian government bonds. And that token part of government bonds can actually be offered to foreign institutions, including foreign institutions from Korea that wanted to purchase the tokenized equivalent of government bonds, which is very safe as well. Also including the projects and also DeFi projects from Korea as well. I can actually purchase the tokenized portion of it. I don't want to speak and spend too much time on this because Ibu Uli has properly shared about the regulatory framework. But I wanted to share that crypto exchange license in Indonesia, at the bottom right, 5 boxes there, I would like to argue is the most expansive license, crypto license, in terms of scope. For one, we can do both broker and dealing activity in Indonesia, whereas in some countries, they have 2 different broker license and also trading license. We're the only country, I think in APAC, that has regulated derivative crypto trading, up to 25x leverage, both positions, long and short. We are allowing both retail and also institutions, and also over-the-counter trading. And last but not least, we have a very simplified token listing, with more than 1,000 tokens are allowed to be traded in Indonesian exchanges. And as such, I think Ibu Uli shared there was an upbeat in terms of just one exchange now, but also potential opportunities for other exchanges, perhaps, or investments in Korea for collaboration, also adopt forward thinking and innovation. I think this has been shared with Ibu Uli, but I want to emphasize that in the Indonesian ecosystem, focusing significantly on customer protection, where all the customer funds cannot be managed in an exchange. All the deposits are managed through an independent clearing body, and also for all the crypto assets monitored by an independent custody. So this again, there's a segregation of duty between the exchanges and also the management of customer funds. A summary, 3 key points here. 1, significant potential for the industry. And secondly, we'd like to think that regulatory shift to OJK presents not challenges, it's actually opportunities to expand new markets. Last but not least, the challenge is still in the activity of illegal exchanges, which will require enforcement. Perhaps we can learn how, in the Korean market, implement travel rules to prevent crypto assets being withdrawn to illegal exchange, or at least curtail how that can work, and in fact, to build more trading in domestic markets through licensed exchanges. I don't want to spend so much time, but initial ideas that we can probably discuss in our lunch or dinner. But then 5 ideas for collaboration. 1, cross-border digital finance collaboration through regulatory learnings. We understand that in Korea there's a Digital Asset Basic Act, the ABA. I think we can co-learn between that and also the Undang-Undang P2SK. Second one, consumer protection and market conduct. I think we're aware Bank of Korea and also FSC have a collaboration opportunity that we can learn to facilitate between Bank Indonesia and also OJK. Last but not least, I really like to see the counter cyber fraud response system in Korea involving regulator and also law enforcement that I think we can copy in terms of the model in really having a fast response on fraud and cybercrime. The one that's very interesting, cross-border sandbox and research. Two areas here, especially on money movement, right? Inbound remittance from Republic of Korea or vice versa. How can we ensure that the KYC from the money in and also money out can be done from a Korean bank exchanges and also Indonesian bank and exchanges and vice versa? I'm aware there's a blockchain special zone in Busan. I'd like to understand how that's done and how that actually can create benefits. Maybe we can implement the same thing. If not, maybe in Bali. It's an emerging blockchain community in Bali. Real sector blockchain use case innovation. I think lending is an issue here, but also significant potential. How can we use from real cases in Finda or People Fund in Korea to use blockchain-based verification? But also, I think carbon credit is an emerging sector, which we feel like there's a model how to track use of carbon credit in Korea as well. Last but not least, massive market then obviously can invite potential investment opportunities, whether it's in exchanges, but also in Indonesian blockchain projects, which at that time is very emerging, but also need opportunities for fun, but also strategic collaboration. Those were just some models that we feel like we can initiate and bring ideas for co-creation between two countries. But let me close with the final and concluding slide from my presentation. I'd like to think that Indonesia and Korea stands at a very interesting intersection now. Indonesia has massive population, one of the fast emerging market in terms of growth and also adoption in Asia. And then right now we're transitioning to OJK that will bring us massive growth opportunities going forward. And of course, Republic of Korea, which is such a massive market, the leading crypto and blockchain market in Asia, would love to understand where we can learn how to shape that market and hopefully find a potential for Indonesia to be in that market maturity one day from now. So I think Indonesia with its scale, complemented with the maturity of Republic of Korea crypto and blockchain market in terms of the regulation, incentives, coordination between government bodies, and also fostering collaboration between regulators and the ecosystem, we feel we can't only just collaborate, but there's a potential here to be co-leaders and set regional standard. And I'd like to really take the opportunity of this event today and also the dialogue that happens between the parties here to start creating that roadmap. Really identifying these opportunities to have concrete real sector actions. And the role of ABI here as an association, we'd like to stand to support OJK, our Korean partners, counterparts, and also stakeholders in the market so that we can achieve this vision. With that, I'd like to thank you for everybody. It's been an honor for me to represent ABI, and hopefully we can work together and achieve the vision that we want to aspire from ABI. My name is Yudhono Rawis from ABI. Thank you. Kamsahamnida. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you so much, Pak Yudo, for your interesting presentation. You also mentioned about how the potential and challenges in the context of the crypto asset and digital asset in Indonesia, and also the important thing and interesting thing before you mentioned about the collaboration, how Indonesia and Korea can collaborate in the context of the development of the digital assets. Okay, so now we would like to open the discussion session. Since we have a lack of time, seems like we just have 3 questions here. If you would like to have any question, you can just please raise your hand and then But before that, you please mention your name and then your institution before asking the question. Any question from this side? Left side? Okay, sir. Table number 1, please.
Hi, this is Sean from Jefferies Hong Kong. So appreciate your presentation today. So I just want to ask about the dollarization on the stablecoin. I think this is very familiar concept, and globally we are getting a lot of attention. So also in Korea as well. So I'm worrying about the FX market, right? So when we are talking about the derivative asset, derivative product, we need to think about the principal asset as well. I'm pretty sure at the moment 99% stablecoins are pegged in the US dollar, and it will impact to the emerging market and FX as well. So do you have any view on this kind of control or view on this stablecoin at current stage? Thanks.
Thank you so much. Another question?
My name is Harry. I'm from Bank Mandiri, Indonesia. So I have 2 questions for Bu Uli as well as Pak Yudo, if I'm allowed. So the first one for Bu Uli, as we know that the transitions of supervision for the crypto assets to OJK recently, and currently that we understand that banks are currently restricted for entering the crypto market in Indonesia. Do you foresee a timeline or sandbox framework within the short-term, 3 to 5 years forward, to allow the banks to offer trading services or maybe entering the crypto market as well, directly from mobile banking applications to the customers? That's the first questions for Bu Uli, and the second question for Pak Yudo. As you are from the industry, and I believe that you also follow the development of the crypto around the world. That we know that the banks have a large customer base, and do you see that is there any underexplored collaborations between the banks and the crypto exchange or the crypto players in the markets that are currently not well explored and can be provide a source of income for both of the players in the industry? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question, Pak. Last question, please.
Just very quickly from me. I'm Ranchana from ASEAN-ROK. So I would like to know what's your plan for the regulatory framework for stablecoins. As Sean has already mentioned about stablecoins that could cause de-dollarization, I also wondering about the local currency stablecoins in terms of your plan for regulatory framework. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. So, Pak Yudo, Bu Uli, we have some question. Maybe you can just answer in general. The first question regarding to the influence of de-dollarization, the context of the market and how you can view of that one. And then the second one from Bank Mandiri mentioning about the what is the for looking for 3 until 5 years forward to allow bank to enter the market. And also we have question regarding to the collaboration between banks and the crypto market. How can you view on that point? And last one regarding to the planning of the regulatory framework for the stable coin, right? Thank you. Bu Uli?
Okay. This is really interesting. A question on the regulatory regulation on stablecoin or tokenizations. Actually, we are currently in developing the new regulation for ICO and ITO. Hopefully, now it's still under public submissions for the opinions. Under our POJK ICO, ITO, we hopefully this will what we call it support the market deepening on 2026, especially to provide what we call it to support related ministries for strategic working plan. Especially we have yet, as I mentioned to you, there are 2 actually currently is under our strict supervision in regulatory sandbox of the tokenization of gold and government bonds. Next, we also have some other new, what we call it, development of ICO for creative industry and also for supporting what we call it farming or agriculture's business. But again, what we need to be able to understand that this is all the regulation have to be harmonized, not only from OJK side, but we have to work together with the stakeholders. Of course, regarding the stablecoin, you mentioned about Indonesia digital currency is also under development by our central bank. We hope, if I'm not mistaken, the roadmap will be up to 2027 or 2030 regarding Indonesia rupiah digital. And we are also, of course, will really, what we call it, taking into considerations the taxations regime in Indonesia for the tokenizations. And again, to be able to issue ICO and ITO, we then have to provide a new market infrastructures, especially for the supervisions for the issuing agents and also the independent appraisal regarding the tokenization. So lots and lots that we are hoping in place for the primary market coming in 2026. Next, from Mandiri, regarding the collaborations of banks and from the conventional financial to digital finance, of course, for now, for the trading platform, under our POJK 27 now revised in 23, the trading platform must be done by our fully licensed exchangers. So only fully licensed exchangers will have the trading platform. So without that, without the fully licensed, the trading platform will consider illegal. That's the thing. So we want to have like separations on the who then what we call it restricted and then as I mentioned to you, the governance, the risk management under the trading platform itself, we have very strict compliance based, and it is not something that we still have to balance. But regarding the new challenges, if I may say, the crime, the cyber attack, not only towards our ecosystem, the traders, the exchangers, but also what we call the potential threat to other financial institutions that being able, the fraudster fund going to the crypto asset. If I may recall that it took only 2.5 minutes in one incident from Indonesia cyber attack to global exchanges. So it's really fast. This is something that becoming our concern on how then to open collaborations, especially for now for the banking sectors. We already have in place the regulation that only a transaction to the exchanges must be done towards banking system. So have to deposit through banking system. This is something, why? Because we believe that more and more anti-money laundering and KYC principle done by the banking will help the ecosystem towards be able more prudent way and being able to understand the consumer that this is a genuine transactions. And the KYC also, we hope then it will be also uniform and what we call it more and more what we call it align from one financial institution and to the exchanges. This is something that we look forward also next regarding the KYT, know your transactions, to provide us to be able to monitor and supervise daily, what we call it effectively and efficiently, that all the transactions coming from the genuine transactions, coming from the legal transaction and done by our customer under our legal business platform or trading platform.
Okay, Thank you for the questions. Please allow me to maybe start with a question from Pak Heri from Bank Mandiri towards the development of global cooperation between TradFis and also crypto exchange. I personally feel like the new market creation opportunity is in collaboration between crypto exchanges and also the banks. I'm going to give you an illustration here. Pak Heri, I'm in Living app. You have everything other than crypto trading for your customers. So I feel like you might be losing out the young population there to be able to offer. So that means they will have to jump app right through a license exchange, and unfortunately that cannot be done. And of course, then we'll complete the life cycle. You have the deposit, lending, stock exchange from Mandiri Sekuritas, and ideally under Living, you would have crypto exchange. I mean, you cannot avoid that fact that all the Indonesian younger generation now goes to crypto. So the trend is there anyway. I can share you a story where when I was in Binance in 2022, I went to a banking executive and basically they threw me away out of the window. You cannot do a collaboration. But now, with transition to OJK, you've been seeing a few things are ongoing. Now we can see direct integration between banking channel with the crypto exchange for deposit and withdrawal. It's massive opportunity. Secondly, in my previous company, thankfully to OJK, I was able to launch a co-branding card between a bank and a crypto exchange. That was never happened before. And of course, the future would be to integrate banking as a service in a crypto exchange, curious, hopefully in a responsible kind of adoption. But then the future that I really aspire to 2 years from now would be not the crypto payment, but crypto to IDR settlement. Because right now the customer journey is just so clunky whenever you want to trade and also with deposit and withdrawal. And I think that can be done in collaboration with the bank. So last but not least, let me maybe state also my view about this. Massive opportunities, especially for customer acquisition and collaboration with TradFi and banks for a very simple reason. Right now, our crypto exchange customers, they're all retail and young. Whereas the highest quality of customers actually reside in banks. You've gone through robust KYC there. You've gone through years of post-monitoring at the level that we're still learning in crypto exchanges. So if we're able to have that access, we'll even become a more compliant, serving a more mature client base. And I think that's where the future should be. I feel like the stablecoin question from Mr. Sean and Ibu Rencana, okay, was answered already by Ibu Uli, but I'd like to, for avoidance of doubt, there's no stablecoin regime now in Indonesia, unfortunately. We have to invite another stakeholder, Bank Indonesia, to be able to initiate that discussion. I'd love to have a long discussion about de-dollarization risk on stablecoin with you. I think 95% of stablecoin in the world, it's still USD. But it is emerging with MICA, and of course in other jurisdictions, hopefully in Hong Kong, hopefully Indonesia as well. What I can share is Indonesian exchanges now, I think facilitate about 50% pairs still USD stablecoin pairs. And they're allowed to be traded on that pair, not only IDR pairs. Yeah, so I think quite a lot of adoption, I'd like to think, USDT and USDC here. I think that might change with clearer stablecoin regime in Indonesia. Last but not least, China was asking about IDR stablecoin. Again, there's no regime, but there are maybe a few going around as an asset class, as a pair in some of the exchanges. What also is interesting, and I think we know some of our members are applying for a sandbox. I'd like to thank like a quasi stablecoin, so yield-bearing tokens, IDR. Think of it like a tokenized money market funds in Indonesia. So that behaves like a stablecoin with yield-bearing. And I'd like to express my gratitude to OJK that something like this is classified as innovation, responsible, in a compliant way, and might be there. Again, not to destabilize IDR, that's the common misconception, but actually to expand the Indonesian financial instruments actually abroad. Like I said before, part of this tokenization actually allows the token equivalents to be offered to other countries. Right? The purchasers of this could be a DeFi player from Korea, who in turn resell it to their users. So yeah, I think things might be clearer 2 or 3 years from now. We have the same event. There might be a stablecoin regime in Indonesia. But yeah, I think in between, still a lot of innovation opportunities and adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Uli and Pak Yudo. That's very interesting discussion for today. But unfortunately, because we have lack of time, we need to conclude the discussion for this first session. But before that, I would like to highlight a few key takeaways from our discussion before. The first one is that today's conversation show us that the world of digital asset evolving than ever, driven by innovation and also shaped by regulation, as we discussed in this conversation. And the second one is that, of course, in the context of the collaboration, collaboration between industry, regulators, and also customer. And also, we can see that collaboration among countries between Indonesia also and Korea is not only necessary, but also fundamental to build a resilient and trustworthy digital asset ecosystem. So again, thank you so much, Pak Yudo and Bu Uli. Give round of applause for the speaker for this morning. And then I'm Rezza Prisandy. Thank you so much for your active participation for this session. I would like to give back the mic to Mbak Cantik. Thank you so much.